Hey, what's up guys? It's Zteteo here. Today we're going to be looking at a 1v1 speed cast. We'll set that speed right now to 1.5 times speed and get this baby cranking. But first, I want to talk about tomorrow, this weekend. This weekend is BPL Season 6. Either you got to sign up today. I know this video is very short notice, but if you want to play in it, you got to sign up today. But yeah, check it out tomorrow if you would like to watch it. We will see Ptaq in it, or Ptaq, sorry. And that's probably why we're seeing Ptaq play these 1v1 matches. We don't typically see Ptaq play as many 1v1s. But anyways, let's get in here.
Game started.
All right, so at the bottom left-hand position here, we have Eno spawned as our red Armada player. Looking like they're doing a 3-mex in the bot lab. Eno is known as a tick player, so probably going to be tons and tons of ticks coming out of here from Eno. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we got Ptaq spawned as our blue Armada player in the center position here. Looking like they are doing a 2-mex into vehicle opener. Now for vehicles, they do take a bit more metal to produce, and with that, that means the start is typically a little bit slower. And if you don't have a third mex, it can really slow you down. You can really run out of a lot of metal really quickly here. Only sitting at 180. So yeah, going to be looking to grab this third mex probably ASAP. But yeah, first cranking out some rovers. So throwing down some harassment to begin with. And maybe hoping to catch Eno off guard with a two vehicle opener. Meanwhile, Eno just now producing a BotsCon, a couple of ticks out to look around. One moving northbound, one going to the south. So yeah, one kind of scouting for Ptaq's base, the other one seeing that there is aggression on him, so he's going to have to produce some ticks for defense. But yeah, a couple of cons coming out here already, so if he's able to keep those alive, I think he'll be in a great position with that. First mex gets taken out, but yeah, the con's already en route to rebuild it. And yeah, it looks like the ticks popping out of the lab are going to clean up the rest of them. Meanwhile, there is a single tick moving across the field as well towards Ptaq's base. We'll see if he can get anything done. LT starts, but it looks like it's going to be a bit late. The mex is probably going to go down here. Tick squeezes into a small little location, able to get that last hit off on that mex before the rover cleans it up. And yeah, just looking at the map, we got a lot of ticks coming across the field at this point. And I think this is going to be really tricky to deal with. Now, rovers can be a nice way to deal with ticks, but they are a little bit harder to control in large numbers, because they take a lot longer to turn around compared to the ticks, and they don't really have as much DPS per cost as the tick either. So ticks are actually, in my opinion, a little bit better of a choice. Con over here that's expanding gets found. It's retreating towards the LLT, but it looks like the ticks interrupt it. And yeah, the ticks in the back, sitting there getting with that con in between the ticks and the LLT. The LLT was unable to kill those ticks in time. Single rover gets killed off here, by the way, on this mex. But yeah, a little bit of damage dealt back to Eno from Ptaq. Ptaq now sending his commander out to expand, and that's a safer way to expand. But at the same time, ideally, you really want more than just your commander out expanding. You definitely needs that metal as the vehicle player. And yeah, with these ticks kind of roaming around, that's very difficult to do. He's kind of forced into this more defensive posture as the ticks kind of swarm in. We got a whole bunch coming in from the left-hand side and still little piles at the bottom and top. So very difficult. And yeah, I think the blitzes there just get eaten up by the ticks, just completely swarmed and taken out. Nice little pick off there. Now, as a blitz player, you want to have small groups of blitzes. You don't really want to send them in and really, you want more like a dozen. Well, maybe not a dozen, but like, 6 or 7 or so, ideally. But at the same time, you want to apply pressure, make sure that the ticks can't just keep populating, by keeping your opponent lower on metal. But yeah, the ticks, I mean, the whole thing with the ticks is they can keep... little attack here. Self-D tries to go off on the LT, but no dice. The explosion from the LT still takes out all those ticks, though. Meanwhile, another swarm comes down here towards these two cons here. And yeah, they're certainly in trouble. The blitz is a little bit too far out of position to protect them. And yeah, the ticks are a little bit too mobile. Now even going on top of this rock, making it very difficult for Ptaq to deal with it. At the same time, harassing this mex, run into the commander, get a lot of those get taken out, but losing that mech is annoying. Gonna have to rebuild that. And yeah, just looking at the metal difference between these two players, we see a very big difference here. And Eno, I think, realizing that he just lost a lot of ticks, is realizing that the pressure is going to be on him, decides to build some LLTs. And I think this is a really, really smart player here. Just realizing exactly when the pressure is available from Ptaq. So yeah, just protecting those cons, making sure that they can't just be harassed for free. And with these ticks piled up here and the LLTs, I think this is going to be a rather strong defense. So the blitzes decide to go down to the south here, take out a couple mexes here, head towards the base. We'll see if this is enough to actually deal some damage, or if the ticks are just going to eat them alive. Second bot lab coming down for Eno, by the way, as they gear up to try to produce more ticks. But at the same time, they have to deal with these blitzes that are in their base. And yeah, they actually get some good damage off. A couple more mexes and solars go down. And I think Ptaq has kind of done it. He's kind of gotten into a position where, he's actually ahead on metal income at the moment. But yeah, with all the metal produced, going towards Eno does have a chunk of metal to work through right now. So not the biggest of deals, as long as they're able to build up some more build power and energy to work through that. But yeah, with Ptaq's commander in the center here, building LLTs and grabbing mexes, I think this is a reasonable position for the commander, just to safeguard, this position here, and make it difficult for ticks to assault down, through this line, I suppose. But at the same time, the ticks are so fast, they could probably just go around. They can go hit from all these different directions. And that's kind of the troubling part of when you do a center start. Blitz is down here. Meanwhile, find the commander, but at the same time, get pinched between the commander and the ticks. Unable to get out of there. That's not an ideal trade for Ptaq here. Ideally, you want to have your blitzes kiting, running away from the ticks as they deal damage. And, in that situation, they can't run away from the ticks because that'd run them into the commander. So really nice pinching maneuver there from Eno. I'm not sure if that was like more happenstance or what, but yeah, Ptaq kind of, getting into a little bit of trouble because of that. And yeah, Ptaq, I think, realizing that the pressure is going to be on him after losing those blitzes, adds on a lot more LLTs, trying to build some, some extra solar and build power as well. Now having a bunch of metal to work through at the same time. So, the production out of Ptaq isn't that great right now. And I think Eno's seizing the moment, attacking these, these outer mexes here. Take out the LLT. There was a self-D on there, but it didn't really... it didn't really kill all the ticks, so they're able to, still run around and find some damage. Even able to go in this position here where it's difficult for the LT to hit the tick. Hiding behind that mex. Yeah, here's another one here. So yeah, just a lot of LTs that are unable to truly protect the mex here. Finding the right angle. There's a trick to that, by the way. You go in from the angle that the turret is not facing, and that way, the turret takes long enough for the turret to turn around that the tick gets close enough to the mech to take it out, without it even really being hit. And Eno just doing a very, very good job of utilizing that to his advantage. Vehicle Lab actually coming down here from Eno. This is a little bit surprising, considering they are the tick player. So I'm curious to see how they incorporate that into the tick build. I guess looking at the production queue, we do see a lot of Janice's queued up. So straight up just Janice tick is the play from Eno at this time. Looking at their base, though, they have 3 bot labs making ticks at this point. So yeah, just floods and floods of ticks, and at the same time having Janice pop out. Now the Janice might be a response to the fact that blitzes, once they group up to a whole bunch, it can be a little difficult for ticks to really pounce on them. But at the same time, when they're grouped up like that, it makes it really easy for the AoE of the Janice to do massive amounts of damage. So it might be just for that. And at the same time, though, Janice are going to be reasonable against LLTs as well. So, all the force of LLTs here it could possibly get taken out. Meanwhile, the cons at the top here are threatened once again. And this position has been non-stop attacked. And that's so unfortunate because this is right outside Ptaq's base. So it's just been so difficult for them to keep that metal income flowing. You know, meanwhile, Eno's taking basically the rest of the map. The whole other half of the map is theirs. If we draw a line, you know, of you know, what they actually own in terms of mexes, you know, it's a pretty stark difference between these two players in terms of what they have. So, you know, Ptaq is in a lot of trouble at this point. But yeah, at least they know that there's Janus on the field. So we'll see how Ptaq responds to that. Yeah, I mean, blitzes are nice against Janus, but at the same time, you want to spread them out against them. And you know, that's not how you want to be against ticks. So it becomes rather tricky. And this is kind of a lot of Janus at the same time. So I'm not even sure, you know, if Ptaq really has enough to deal with this right now as he gets assaulted here. But yeah, bits of groups of ticks on the sides as well, still harassing the place. Looks like they were attacking this con for a moment, decided to let it live. There's some ticks down here, by the way, as well. Okay, so Blitz has come out here to play. They're trying to find some damage, but there's so many ticks out on the field. They decide to go elsewhere, you know, trying to, you know, trying to attack a position where Eno isn't. You know, maybe just not having the APM to be down here to reinforce these mexes with these ticks. But either way, Ptaq losing this chunk of real estate here in the center of the map is kind of a big deal, because that creates this point on this chain of LLTs. Like before, there used to be some more LLTs this way, and because they don't exist, it's a lot easier for the ticks to take out the remaining LLTs. But we'll have to just see how this plays out. Because meanwhile, the commanders are kind of getting exposed here. Both players, by the way. Eno kind of sitting at the bottom here, you know, with his commander still expanding, moving forward into Ptaq's side of the map. You know, and meanwhile, Ptaq's commander, you know, is building LLTs. It looks like Ptaq knows like what the real threat is here, and realizing that they just need to continuously build LLTs to protect themselves against the hordes of ticks. Even just looking at right here, we got over 200 ticks just sitting here in this pile, let alone the ones that are still coming out of the factories here. Yeah, Ptaq's got to change something, I think. I mean, there's not much he can do at this point. Like, medium tanks are not really what you want against ticks either. I mean, they can certainly absorb damage. Okay, we're going to see an air transition here. So I think Ptaq just realizing, you know, that the situation is just so bad at the moment, you know, needing to build something like an air lab. Unfortunately, I mean, it looked like they were reclaiming the lab, but not any longer. Meanwhile, the ticks are coming forward into this pile of LLTs, and they are basically all taken out. A lot of self-Ds going off, trying to get as many ticks as possible with them. But yeah, a lot of these LLTs actually taken out before the self-D goes off. But yeah, okay, so we are going to see a reclaim on that vehicle lab, and we're going to see a Banshee transition here. So I think Ptaq is looking at this situation saying, okay, I basically lost, but let me try one last thing. Let me try to snipe the commander. You know, knowing that the commander's at the bottom here is kind of a big deal, knowing that it's somewhat exposed. But at the same time, ticks can, you know, get over there to defend pretty easily, you know, and that's why you use something like air. Use something to just snipe the commander. But I don't know, you know, looking like he's sniffing it out, has already built a nettle for defense against the Banshees. And yeah, I mean, honestly, this might just be like I guess what they would call in StarCraft a StarCraft sense, where, you know, the player, you know, understands something about what their opponent's doing without actually seeing it, because all this is so prepared. Even the cloak going down before the Banshees actually get there. I think he maybe saw the scout that was coming in here, but either way, the Banshees, I don't know if there's really enough Banshees to take out the commander, even if they knew where it was. And now the fighter's coming out really fast. Holy shit. That must have been already pre-built or something, because that was really, really fast. But yeah, either way, you know, this commander looking pretty safe at the moment with all the fighters flying overhead. Banshees still streaming in, but more fighters join the group, and yeah, all the Banshees are basically taken out here. So I think Eno, yeah, okay, Ptaq just calls it at this point.
Battle
GG from Eno. Let's take a look at the graph here. And yeah, looking at this graph, you know, seeing how Eno has exponentially grown, you know, that's a little bit more typical in a bar match, especially a 1v1 when you have so many mexes to just keep growing with. You can just keep adding on more constructors and keep expanding even faster and faster. You know, and meanwhile, Ptaq's graph here looking very linear, you know, and that just shows us that Ptaq was kept so far down on mexes. Just doing a great job of making sure that Ptaq can't expand. Anyways, I am Zeteo. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any comments, if you liked the cast, didn't like the cast, or think I should do a different formats or something, let me know, and I'll see what I can do about it. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.